Good evening, guys. I will be commencing the session in another 3 minutes. Meanwhile, all of you who are here, please make it a point to introduce yourself in the chat. Do mention in case you have any queries too, so that I can take it up during the session of mine. I will be commencing the session in another 3 minutes. All right. Very good evening, all of you, and welcome to this session. This session is basically going to focus on any queries you might have on higher education opportunities, especially in the international soil. Though the focus here is on US and GRE, I will be actually discussing about other countries too in case you do have any query. I'm going to be strongly recommending you people to participate in this, get your doubts clarified. Before doing so, I'm going to make a request. Please see to it that you are introducing yourself in the chat by just mentioning which department you are from and which college you represent. And of course, in case you have any doubts, you could always pen the same. What I'm going to be basically doing is I'm going to be taking these questions which probably trouble you, and then I am going to be basically helping you guys solve, give you some insight into those issues. All right. Before that, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Abdullah, and I am the CEO of Condura. Condura is the biggest GRE as well as IELTS and CAT coaching center in Visakhapatnam. I'm right now based out of Visakhapatnam. We do have Condura Online, which is our online division based out of Hyderabad, which is headed by Ramashashank, who is my colleague, and a gentleman from IIIT Hyderabad, and I am Calcutta. I am actually a teacher. I teach on a daily basis. I teach for GRE chiefly. And what I have been doing for the last 14-15 years is helping students plan their career as far as higher education is concerned. I am going to be basically addressing issues of higher education because I am a very firm believer in the fact that higher education is all about investment. It's about career. What I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be actually taking a few questions that have been raised by students. Quite a few of them have actually, you people have actually written to me with queries. I'll take those up and I'll try to broad base it, make a generic answer for the same, and additionally, in case you have any doubts, something which I'm not covering, please feel free to write to me here and I shall take that as well. All right. With that, let me quickly start. For people who do not know me, I'm a mechanical engineer. I still fantasize myself as a mechanical engineer. I have always enjoyed mechanical engineering. I did join for my MTech at IISc Bangalore. I have All India rank 17 in GATE. I subsequently did my MBA, said tata bye-bye to mechanical engineering because I realized I like the theory of mechanical engineering but not the practice. And I did my MBA from MDI Gurgaon, which is one of the top 10 colleges in India. worked for some time in a Government of India company, Power Finance Corporation, which is a Navaratna, and subsequently worked in a company called as CRISIL. Okay, I'm actually a Tamilian, but today I find my home in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, that's about me. And what I have been doing since 2003 is basically help students plan the career for higher education, and our motivation has always been to see to it that we help our students dream high. As I did mention, I'm a very firm believer in the power of education. I do believe the fact that when we do a degree, we don't do it just because we want to hang the degree in our bedroom and tell everyone that we are engineers or we have done our masters. It is more about monetizing the degree in getting ourselves a good career and life. Okay, so that's the background as far as I'm concerned. What I'm now going to be doing is I'm going to be basically talking about the structure in which I'm going to be taking this presentation. Let me just switch to this presentation here and talk about what are the things which I'm going to be covering here. I'm actually going to be covering on 3 C's, and that is exactly what I keep talking about. The 3 C's are the most critical elements when it comes to the 4th C, which is your career. Now, you are actually doing your bachelor's. The fact of the matter is, master's is a way of speeding up your process of growing in your career. 3 important decisions when it comes to master's: which country should I do in, which college should I fight for, and which course should I embrace. And believe me, all the 3 C's are very important, because a wrong combination can make the mess of the whole plan. So I'm going to be focusing on these 3, the country, I'm going to be focusing on the college, and I'm going to be focusing on course, and then I'm going to be talking about the importance of GRE and IELTS. All right, so let me start with the first one, which is the country. Okay, I'm going to be, as I said, there have been some questions that have been asked by the students already. People have penned me those questions, so I'm going to be relying on taking those questions, and then I will answer from there. I have Hemant who has asked me this question: which is the best country for electronics students? And I have Uday who has asked this question: which country has the best colleges for cyber security? All right, now my answer is very simple: wrong question. Why am I saying it's a wrong question? My question is very simple. Why are you going to do your masters? Are you doing your masters because you want knowledge, or are you doing your masters because you actually want to be joining your school of higher education and then starting a career and then possibly even settling there? I give you an example. Today, for example, China has invested amazing amount of money in developing infrastructure, including in education. The type of research that is happening in China is phenomenal. And there are fantastic colleges in China. So if there's a college that is fantastic in China, should you be going there? No. The college may be fantastic, but you surely don't see your life there. So you should not be asking me which is the best college, for electronics, or which is the best college for cyber security. The college element comes after the country. I'll give you one more example. If you were to look at the type of work that is taking place, the type of job opportunities that are there, type of colleges that are there in biotechnology field, countries like Netherlands are doing phenomenally well. The only problem, however, is that if you were to study in a college of that nature, after you finish your degree, you have got immense knowledge, you have got fantastic degree, but where the shit are the jobs? One of the very important things that we need to understand is when we leave India and when we go abroad, we are actually going to probably settle. If you were to tell me that after finishing your masters in US, you are going to come back to India, Bharat Mata ki jai, sweethearts, you will laugh and I will laugh. You may come back. I'm not saying you will not. The concept of reverse brain drain has actually happened. But you will not come back immediately. So when you choose, you should be first looking at the country. Which country should I go? And after that, you should be asking which college. All right? So the choice of country becomes very important. That is, as I said, the first C. So let me take to the next question, and I'll answer this question as well. So when you are choosing which country you should go to, there are 2 very important things that you should be looking for. One is, where are the jobs? And second is, can I actually get a PR? When I talk about PR, that is for the permanent residency. After all, there's a very good chance you might actually continue living there, get citizenship of another country. And there's nothing wrong in that, because we are, global citizens today. When I did my MTech from IC Bangalore, the opportunities that we had were limited to India. The scope that we had to see was limited to India. We never thought anything beyond that because then it was very expensive. Today, that is not the case. Today, there are many mechanisms of reducing your cost of education. And that is something I will elaborate as I go forward. So when you do have the whole goddamn world in front of you, you need to select, go to the best place of education and career. Therefore, two questions that you need to be always asking when you decide on which country: are there jobs that I'm looking forward to? And second, can I subsequently get a PR and therefore continue being there? All right. The choice of continuing or not continuing should be with us, not with the country. So if there's a country which gives you good education but does not give you PR, China being a classic case, then why the shit are you going to be going there in spite of the fact that education might be cheap or the quality of education might be good, because our goals are different. So these are the two very important things that you need to bear in mind, you need to keep looking at. All right, let me take this question from Lakshmi Nayak, who says, should I look at India or abroad? Now, my point is very simple. If you are planning for higher education in India, do we have good colleges? Answer is yes. We have IC Bangalore, the best in India has to offer when it comes to masters. We have IITs which are doing phenomenally well. But the number one in India, when I talk about IC Bangalore, which is normally ranked as number one in India, it is number one in India. That's the point. It is not number one in the world. And today, when you do have an option of looking at the world, comprehensively, why are you going to be satisfied joining a college which is number one in India? Why not look for something probably elsewhere, which is better than what is number one in India? So that's one point that you need to understand. What is the advantage of doing your higher education in India? One of the advantages is, number one, it is much more accessible. Okay? And if you really want to continue your career in India, you want to be with your family, yeah, why not India? Similarly, if you really want to join government jobs, after finishing your masters, yes, India would be the right option to be. But India has a couple of problems. Problem number one is this: the competition is immense. If you were to look at GATE, because GATE is the mechanism of you making an entry into the best colleges that India has to offer, the level of competition is so phenomenal. In fact, I keep saying GATE is even tougher than CAT. Now, as against that, your chances of getting into a better college elsewhere is more, simply because the number of seats are more. So competition to that extent is lesser. Advantage number two in India, it's a little more economical. All right, the fees are not as high as what you would probably shell out when you are looking for education outside. But fact of the matter is, the number of seats are less, and only in those seats, like in IITs, etc., are the fees is less. Other places where fees are less, quality is also less, or at least the branding is not as strong enough. Now, I only ask you one question. If you were to look at the creme de la creme, the best of the best that India has to offer, IITians, the BTechs from IITs, the fact of the matter is they prefer going abroad. And I only know one thing, and that is what I tell my students. We do what the best of the best people do, so we also go abroad. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Look at this gentleman, all right? This gentleman is basically one of my GRE students, Ram Bandaru by name. He comes from a very local college in Visakhapatnam. Now, the beauty is, after finishing his mechanical engineering, he actually went to US. He did his master's from George Washington University in aeronautical engineering, and now he is working for a project with NASA. And the most amazing thing is, I'm sure you know of Elon Musk. I'm sure you know of SpaceX. He's actually working for a project of NASA which is related to SpaceX. Now, such an opportunity for an average student is nearly impossible in India because of the level of competition and because of the number of seats which are limited in India. So, it is not that India is not good. India is fantastic, but it depends on what area. When it comes to technology, frankly, we suck. The type of research that takes place in India is still not to the standard. All right. Most of the colleges depend on government for funding, and unfortunately, government is not in the state to fund as much. Now, if you were to look at developed countries, and I'm not just talking about US, I'm talking about quite a few countries apart from US too, lot of funding actually comes from the industry. And industry, when it is funding it, understand the type of research that industry will demand is not a research of yesterday, it's not a research of today, they will demand a research of tomorrow. The type of research, unfortunately, we are doing in India is little more theoretical. So from that perspective, yes, going abroad makes sense. Now, does it make sense for you to be in India in any case? Answer is yes, if you want an MBA, and I will elaborate this as I go forward. Unfortunately, for you people who are going to be freshers, to do your MBA immediately, the best place would be India. Because if you want to go abroad and do your MBA from colleges there, you need to have work experience. Because the model of MBA selection is different. In India, freshers are accepted. All right. Now that itself is changing. For example, IIMs, the weightage for work experience is phenomenal. So people who are not having work experience, they are actually struggling to get into IIMs. So that change is happening even in India. But fact of the matter is that change has already happened abroad. So India is good for MBA if you are in a rush to do your MBA, and abroad probably is much better when it comes to the technology side of it. Okay, let me take one more question, and then I'm going to be encouraging you people to keep firing questions if you have, so that I can address your doubts as well. How do you think pandemic and the new government will affect process in US? This is from Priya. And what about visa rejection? All right, let's try to understand. There are two major developments. When this question has been asked by Priya, she's obviously talking about US, all right. How does pandemic situation and the new presidency of President Biden impact? The fact of the matter is President Trump was not a bad news. But President Trump had one problem which became a bad news. The fact is, he would change policies left, right and center. Now, when we are going abroad, we need a clarity. And that clarity is what President Biden is promising to give. So to that extent, President Biden is a good news for students looking forward to going abroad. During President Trump's time, because of that whimsical nature of change of policy, many Indians shifted their focus from US to Canada. Now what is happening is, with President Biden having come in, the focus is shifting back to US. Now what happens because of pandemic? Now pandemic, I don't know, from selfish point of it, pandemic was a good news for your admission, because colleges have lost a lot of money last year. Therefore, what is happening is that this year they're a little more liberal with the admissions, and more importantly, even visa people are liberal giving visas because they need your money, and that money will come only when you land up in US. Alright, so if you were to look at the visa conversion rate, it has actually skyrocketed of late, and that is a good news. But having said that, when you are going to a country like US, you need to be very careful, because the battle is not just getting an admission, battle is getting visa too. But there are mechanisms of improving your visa success rate. Alright, if you go to a good college, the chances are better. If you know what to say and what not to say, your chances are better. But that we will be advising you as I go forward. I will be conducting a lot of other seminars where I will be talking about visa. So don't worry too much about visa rejection, because if you are basically trying to go to US, chiefly for a job, and how do they get to know of that? They get to know of that basis which college you're getting an admission in. If the quality of college is low, then the doubts come in. So such issues will result in visa rejection, but otherwise visa rejection rate is actually low, especially for students who are aspirational. What is the total budget for MS? Now, as I said, when we talk about country, you need to understand the budget can be different. In US, if you really want to do your masters from a decent enough college, you should be looking at about 40 to 50 lakh as a budget. But before you rush with your heart beating hard, let me caution you. That is the budget, but you don't need to actually have that in your pocket. The reason I say that is, in US, majority of the Indians, and rightly so, what we do is we go and look for part-time jobs also. In US, you are allowed to work for 20 hours per week, and therefore, normally what students do is they look for budget for the first year, and that is the reason why even in visa you are asked to show the budget only for the first year, all right, 9 months actually. And second year they earn out of this. Or they take up things like teaching assistantship, research assistantship, something that I will elaborate when I go forward from here. The second point that you need to understand is, if money is a constraint, you just have to see to it that you are selecting the colleges right. For example, there are certain cities which are expensive. Certain states are also expensive. New York, for example, is expensive. California is expensive. Texas is not as expensive. Arizona is not as expensive. Similarly, even within California, there are colleges which are urban colleges which are expensive. Rural colleges are not expensive. If your profile is good, then you don't need to pay an international student fee. You will be asked to pay what is known as the in-state fees. There's a difference between in-state fee and out of the state fee. In-state fee and out of the state fee. Out of the state fee will be probably 3 times the in-state fee. And in quite a few states, what happens is, if you're a good student, they give you admission and they ask you to pay the in-state fee, which will be around $13,000 instead of around $35,000. So there are mechanisms there. Don't worry about finances as the reason. Believe me, if your profile is good, the chances of getting 100% scholarship is quite good. But I normally tell my students, don't try to cut cost by compromising on the quality of the college. There are other mechanisms of cutting cost, something which again I will elaborate as I go forward in one of my seminars. When I do talk about budget, let me also talk about other countries too. For example, good countries to go for will be Canada. Canada is not very expensive. But yes, the job opportunities which are there in Canada are limited. Why do people prefer US so much? US is a huge economy. The number of colleges that are there in US would be 10 times what are there in Canada. The number of industries which are there in US would be probably 50 times what are there in Canada. Alright. So the point that you need to therefore understand is, people go there because the market is huge to absorb you guys. Similarly, whenever you are taking a decision which country you need to go to, you should be very careful also on what is the specialization you are looking for. For example, if you are a mechanical engineer, you are a biotech engineer, you will get screwed in India. India is not known for these areas. India is known for IT. So every country is different, and depending on what area of specialization that you are going for, you need to be selecting selecting, for example, the country. For example, you are interested in dairy farming. Now, I don't know how many of you are actually going to be interested, but let us say you're going to be interested. Then my point is very simple. Yeah, go to New Zealand or go to Australia. You're interested in tourism, New Zealand is the place to go to. If you're interested in pharma, then Canada is good. Ireland is fabulous. If you're interested in technology area, IT, then US is fantastic. Ireland is beautiful. Why is Ireland beautiful? Because most of the big companies like Facebook, Google's, etc., the biggest of the biggest centers are in Ireland, and therefore guess what? They recruit from those colleges in Ireland. If you are interested in MBA, India is Zindabad. Similarly, if you are interested in MBA, UK is fantastic. If you are a civil engineer interested in construction management, UK is fantastic. If you are a mechanical engineer, don't not look at Germany, but Germany has one problem. Number of colleges are less and you need to know German. Okay? It is not that the teaching will happen in German. Teaching will happen in English, but the German model of learning is internship based. But your chances of getting internship will be higher only if you know German. Otherwise, companies will not touch you as an intern. Therefore, your education gets impacted. So the point I'm trying to make is, which country depends on multiple things. Number one, it depends on jobs. Are jobs there? Number two, how is the situation for PR? Number three, which specialization that you're looking for. As I said, in India, if you're a biotech guy, it's a pity. India sucks in biotechnology, in spite of the fact that we do have quite a few good companies. Dr. Reddy's is there. Okay, we have Biocon, which was doing good amount of research, but there are very few in numbers. So all these things become quite material. The costing is also very different. UK, for example, 10 to 12 lakhs is enough. Ireland, 15 lakhs would be enough. Canada will be a bit expensive. Australia is going to be shit expensive. So it all depends again on these elements. So I'm going to be strongly recommending you, before you take decisions, especially if finance is a limitation, make it a point to speak to experts before you start putting your fight in, because the fight that is required is also going to be different depending on which college you are applying to and which country you are applying to. For example, when you are applying for a college, you need to write SOP, or what is known as statement of purpose. The style of statement of purpose that is demanded in Europe is different from the style of statement of purpose that is demanded in US. The style of resume that has to be submitted in Europe is different from the style of resume that has to be submitted in US. So do see to it that you are taking advice basis your profile, but money should not be the criteria. I'm again telling you today, if you are good, market is in love with you. Okay. How much would backlogs impact? All right, now this is a very important question. The beauty about backlogs is no one cares. When I say no one, I'm talking about college. Colleges are not too finicky about backlogs. What they say is, alright, you failed, finally did you pass or not? So backlog should not be a criteria when it comes to the college, but backlogs becomes a very important criteria before that when you're selecting a country. For example, if you do happen to have backlogs of, let us say, 12 to 14, alright, then looking for US is a bit dangerous. Not because you will not get admission, because visa people will probably reject. So the problem of backlogs is that impacts your own visa. So you need to be very careful if you do have a lot of backlogs. See to it that you're not applying only to US. Have a backup that can be in Canada or other countries depending on which area of specialization you are. Second thing is prepare for the visa interview, because US has a visa interview which is speaking typed. And one of the favorite questions that you should expect is, do you have backlogs and why? Blah, 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 blah. So you should know how to speak on that. Does that mean if you have 10 or 20 backlogs, you cannot go? No, that is not it. As I said, if your profile is good enough in other areas, US colleges will still be in love with you. And if you do get a good college, when you go to the visa officer, you can always tell the fact that I screwed up my engineering, but I worked very hard to get an admit. And I'm really proud of the fact that I got an admit in so-and-so college. And that is probably a good answer, all right? You are saying my past was bad, but my future is beautiful. And guess what? I'm coming to your country for the future. So the way you answer in the visa interview is also important. But if you do have backlogs, which is a negative, you should have something else positive, which is where profile building becomes extremely important. Countries where you can probably go with too many backlogs would be Australia. Not very finicky when it comes to backlogs, and that's one of the reasons you find many people rushing to Australia. My suggestion, and I don't recommend Australia to my students for a simple reason: education cannot be compromised. It has to be investment, not expenditure. Alright, let's now look at the second part of it, which is what I basically talk about as the college, alright, the importance of college. Now, before I go forward, I'm going to be quickly recommending one more request. Please see to it that you are introducing yourself in the discussion forum, and in case you do have any questions on discussion, please post it, because I will be taking it up too, alright. Now, how do you select a college? Let's see. Now, let's look at this question that has been asked by Vardhan, and I'm probably looking at the same question being asked here by Uday Kumar as well. Can I get any suggestions on colleges with masters in cyber security programming? Now, whenever you select a college, you are not going to select a college just because it's ranked high in cyber security. If you really want to know which is the best college in India, in the world for cyber security, it would be Purdue. All right. So Purdue is the best, the creme de la creme. But the fact of the matter is, and Purdue is good enough, but there are many colleges which might be very high in ranking, but not the right college for us, simply because Asians are not preferred either for admit or by the industry which come there and recruit. So you need to be taking decisions on which college, which is the second C, based on are jobs going to be available? Is there an openness for Asians? And sometimes I keep telling students, if your profile is not very good, rather than looking for US ranking, look for regional ranking. Being in the best of the regional colleges might be better than being in the average of the US colleges. Let me give you an Indian analogy. Let us say you wish to specialize in finance, and let us say you screwed up your CAT, and you end up getting a college which is probably in Bhopal, which is better than a local college in Mumbai. I would say, God damn it, go to a local college in Mumbai, because then you are sitting in the heart of the city of finance. So when you are taking a decision, do not rely only on the global ranking or the US ranking. You need to also take into consideration, how is the job market for Indians? We need to be selfish, all right? You also need to ask yourself this question, all right, job market is there for Indian, but at the end of the day, are jobs there for people with my profile or not? So your profile becomes very important, and that's one area that you need to invest heavily in, and that's also something that I will be talking about. Cyber security is something that many people prefer, especially people who are interested in technology but are not very strong in coding, all right? Because the need for coding in cyber security is not as intense. But yes, if you are good in coding, you have an advantage, but it's not as intense. So I do get a lot of students who come to me talking about cyber security. Cyber security, thankfully, is an evolving area. It's a fantastic area. But one very important thing about US and developed countries is, please go to evolving area. That will be the third C I will be talking about. Now, if you look at the map of US, you will realize the fact that majority of the Indians have a preference for certain states. Why is it that we have preference for certain states? Simply because these states are more open to Asians. Things are changing. For example, if you were to now look North Carolina, etc., the opportunities are increasing, the openness is increasing. But if you were to map it up, you will realize the fact that most of the states which we are talking about are the states which are considered to be anti-Trump state. So you need to be therefore careful about which state you need to choose, and rather than going to a good college in a state where you might be discriminated against when it comes to job, you probably would like to go to states where the preference is there for the Asians to go for. So that is also a very important parameter when you're deciding on which college to go for. Now, I have a question that has been asked by Shalini, who says, is an internship mandatory for building a good profile to get into well-known universities abroad? Does a research paper done for an admission purpose really count to get an admit, and what is the ideal profile? Now, I will be spending a little more time in this because for me, this is the most important point. Let's roll back and try to understand. Remember, higher education is an investment. Sweetheart, you go to the right college, let me assure you the amount of learning that you have, the amount of fun that you'll have, amount of intellectual growth that you have is going to be phenomenal. One of the things I keep saying, we are what the surrounding makes us to be. If you are surrounded by people who are the best of the best, believe me, that is going to rub to you, you are going to become best. You go to colleges where the professors are Nobel Prize laureates. Imagine the class full of students, 200, 300 of them, few of them sitting down because the professor is not just a fantastic, technical character. He's a storyteller. He can make you fall in love with those areas. These are the colleges that you should be looking for. The point I'm trying to make you understand is college matters. So once you have decided on the country, your agenda point should be very simple. Which college? One of the biggest mistake I've seen my students do is they say that, look, my senior went there, therefore I'm going to go there. Just because your senior sold his dream cheap does not mean that you need to sell your dreams cheap. Be ambitious enough. I have students from Geetham who have gone into Purdue. I have students of mine from Geetham who have actually gone into CMUs. Be ambitious enough. The best thing about US and other developed countries is they are not going to say that, all right, if you're from IIT, I'm in love with you. If you're not from IIT, I'm going to dump you. No. The US colleges and the developed country colleges are going to, if you're from IIT, I'm in love with you, but show me extra. Similarly, if you are from non-IIT college, they're going to say, all right, show me something extra. Then I might marry you rather than marrying an IIT. So profile matters. So whatever Shalini has asked, is internship mandatory? Is research paper mandatory? Let me answer that. To answer that, I'm going to be talking about something important to try to understand what is MS. The difference between MS and MTech is application, MS is research. In India, do we have MS? Answer is yes. But India is not very strong for research, so the toppers of GATE go for MTech and others go for MS. But the developed countries believe the fact that students' responsibility is to participate in research. Therefore, MS is the best. Within MS, you have thesis and non-thesis. Thesis is more something that will lead you to PhD. All right. MS and non-thesis is also decent enough. So what is MS again? It is research. So if Shalini were to come to me and I'm a fantastic college, I'm not just going to look at the fact that she's from Geetham. I'm going to be asking you what is the percentage. The moment you tell me a percentage, I'm going to, keep something in my mind. Then I'm going to look beyond it. I'm then going to see, does she have a research inclination? And what is the best way of showing you have a research inclination? Get me a goddamn publication. Publication helps. Publication phenomenally helps because publication in a good journal tells me the fact that you are research minded, and more importantly, it's a proof that you're giving with application. So yes, publication helps. But the quality of publication is what is more important. And how is the quality of publication determined? It is determined by the impact factor of the journal. One of the very important things that I keep telling is, you people come from good colleges. There are many professors of yours who are doing good research. Please see to it that you're attaching yourself to professors. Why? Because the beauty of attaching yourself to professors is, even before you go to US, you are getting an experience of research because your professors have been doing research for donkey years. You can learn from them. And more importantly, the beauty of the professors is because the professors are doing the research and you are assisting them, you would basically be included as a part of the research team. Not just for doing work, but also when the publication takes place. Because it's the professor's name which is going as the first name for the paper, the acceptance in good journal will be higher because the quality of research expected from professors is going to be higher. But more importantly, your professor's name might be the first name in the research publication, but sweethearts, your name would be the second. And will that add value? Answer is yes. So yes, research matters. You do not need to come out with 3-4 publications, no, but one good publication helps. Now comes the question, what about internship? What about certification courses? The point that you need to understand is, an internship which is not research oriented does not add so much value. So when you are doing internship, when you are doing courses, please do things which are research oriented. Do things which are, even if you are doing courses, do courses which are from research institutions like IIC Bangalore, IIIT Hyderabad, IIIT Bangalore, which are fabulously great in India when it comes to the technology side of it. Okay? Coursera's and edX, these are good for knowledge, but they are not research oriented ones. So your word, the moment you think of MS should be research, the type of work that you should be research. You get me a good profile of research and I'll show you how to get into the top 20 colleges in the world. The fact of the matter is, research is given huge importance, and yes, students who are ambitious enough should invest time in researching. Okay, so ideal profile would be what? Ideal profile would be you come from good college, your percentage is good, you have good recommendation with faculty members because faculty members are in love with you because you're a good student. Okay, you have a good GRE score. When I say good GRE score, you don't need to have 340. Of course, if you have 340, you can dance around. But if you have 315 plus, very decent enough. You have one good publication, and that is an ideal profile. But to improve this profile, if your publication and the area where you want to specialize are in a straight line, all the better. For example, you are interested in cyber security. All right, why don't you do a course of cyber security of IIIT Hyderabad, of IIT, IIIT Bangalore? Cyber security. Why? Because when you write your SOP, you will say, I have a passion for cyber security. But more importantly, you will say, because of the passion, I have actually done something in cyber security. Now you may ask, sir, if I am interested in cyber security, but I have already published a paper in data sciences, what do I do? Nothing, sweetheart. Yes, the weightage will not be as much, but it still exhibits the fact that you have research inclination, because without research inclination, how is that you would have got your publication done? So these things are going to help. Please invest in your profile. Even if you have a low GRE score, but your profile is good, good colleges will crazily lap you up. The best thing about developed colleges, developed countries is they are not going to penalize you. In India, even in your deathbed, I'll ask you, how much did you get in 10th class before I decide to, let you into the hell or the heaven? The beauty about the US is they don't look at the past. They don't look at 1 or 2 struggles. They ask what more. And if you can show me something more, then I'm in love with you. And that is the biggest thing. Yes, Shalini, therefore you need to be investing in your profile. Internship is not mandatory, but if you do have internship which is research oriented, it will be a big plus. For example, as a EC student, if you can do something on with DRDO, for example, I have Somesh here. He's asking about VLSI. If you really want to do something in VLSI, if you can do some work, let us say with ISRO, etc., that will be a big plus. So such advantages are always going to be there, and that is what you need to fight for. Alright, let me quickly have a look in case you have other queries, and then I'll go forward with it. Let me meanwhile go to the next question that is there. I want to know how to shortlist universities and criteria to apply for scholarship. Importance of GRE and GMAT for admission. Now let me first break this into 2 parts. GRE and GMAT are 2 different exams altogether. Alright. If you are sitting in the college, which you are, then GMAT is not for you with a capital N, capital O, capital T. What is the difference between GRE and GMAT? GRE and GMAT are 2 tests conducted by 2 different companies. Traditionally, that was much earlier, GRE was considered by colleges which are MS based, GMAT was considered by colleges which are MBA based. But today, GRE is considered by all the MBA schools, including Stanford, Harvard, Columbia, So The point that therefore you need to understand is, from the exam perspective or the goal perspective, not different. But GRE has an advantage. You have even if you're looking for MBA and you have an option of GRE and GMAT, you have an advantage in GRE. Why? Because we are bloody Indians. The most amazing thing about our education system is it has, focused on our memory skills. If there's something that we have been doing for 15 years, it's by heart. And GRE has an advantage because GRE, and the challenge in both GRE and GMAT comes in the verbal section, is more focused towards memorizing vocabulary. As against that, GMAT is more focused towards when we talk about grammar format. And when we talk about grammar also, let's not forget the fact that it's an American grammar that we are talking about, not the British grammar. We speak Queen's English. And American grammar is actually a little different because you have a lot of idioms which come into picture. So from that perspective, my suggestion is do not worry about GMAT. It's not for you. As I said, if you want to do your MBA abroad, because GMAT is chiefly for that, work experience becomes quite important. And therefore, what you should be looking for is GRE. So GRE is important, but you don't need to get 340 out of 340. If you can get 315 plus, believe me, most of the colleges are going to be happy about it. And after that, they are going to be emphasizing on your profile. But having said that, if you can improve it from 320, 325, smile wider. Okay. How do you shortlist the college? Now, when we talk about shortlisting of a college, again, I'm going to go back and talk about it. Number one, look at your profile. Don't go by US ranking alone. If your profile has certain flaws, then nothing wrong in compromising on the college ranking. Select a local place which is better than a national college's average. For example, you want to do something in computer science. Look for good colleges in California. Look for good colleges in Texas. Look for good colleges in New York area. Now, New York is going to be expensive, all right? Because New York is expensive. California is not so, because you have urban locations, you have rural locations too, and you have fantastic colleges there too. So, such maturity you need to develop. Similarly, shortlist based on your strengths. Like, if you are not very strong in coding, don't take up MS in computer science. Similarly, you are a person who, for example, want to get into data sciences. You have data sciences, you have data analytics, you have business analytics, and guess what? These three are not the same. Similarly, computer science and computer engineering are not the same. So, which one to take depends on what your strengths are. And that is something that you need to be very careful for. So once you have decided which course, and after that you start targeting which market where will I can get jobs. All right. But of course, if your profile is very good, then you should look for the best of the best. Because once we talk about the best of the best, you will have students from across, and the companies will come to the best of the best, will not discriminate you just because of your skin color. But there's a reality also. If you look at Indians, majority of the Indians will find a place only in the field of technology. I have a student of mine who went and did his MBA from one of the leading colleges. But guess what? He had to get into technology consultancy. Indians are seen as very strong in the field of technology. So try not to move out of technology if you can. Similarly, if you are a mechanical engineer, all right, try to do something in IoT, robotics, etc. Huge opportunities. Again, notice what is robotics. Robotics is a mix of mechanical engineering and technology. The future is there. Don't, as a mechanical engineer, don't try to do something in manufacturing, all right? Try to do something in manufacturing and technology. Don't talk about automobile, talk about automobile and technology. Why? We are talking about autonomous cars. So such options are ones which you need to look for, because these are the areas where jobs are going to grow. In other areas which are traditional jobs are actually going to come down. So that is another thing that you need to be looking for. I am in the third year. When should I appear for my GRE? Alright, let me quickly talk about the importance of this area. 3-1 is the right time for you to prepare for GRE. 3-2 is the time that you finish giving your GRE. Because let's not forget, as a student, you are not just fighting for GRE, you are fighting for academics. Don't screw up your academics, alright? So, before your final year exams, that should be the right time to finish your GRE. Remember, this is a pandemic year. Here, the things have gone for a change. During summers, try to do a project which is in the area you want to specialize. During that time, finish IELTS also. During 4-1, when the 4-1 starts, please see to it that you are actually trying to convert the project that you've done into a paper, get it published. And that is where the most important thing comes. Your application window in good colleges open by September end or October. So if you are a student who is in the third year, you will go to the final year in 21, you will pass out in 22, and you want to go for your fall admission in 22. That is, you want to go to US by August of 22. The window period in good colleges will start by October of 21. So by October of 21, everything should be ready. Publication, one good project, research oriented if you can, good LORs from your professors, good academics, which means academics till third year is what is very material, all right? These are the things that you need to be focusing on. So the right time to give GRE would be 3-2. Now, this is a pandemic year where the load that you are facing is going to be high right now. Then you could probably give it just after your exams are over, but try not to delay it too much, because as I said, GRE is material, because a good score in GRE will give you the confidence that yes, I can get a good admit. And believe me, that confidence is phenomenally positive in its impact that it has on you. In fact, I have a lot of students who do GRE in the second year also. And guess what they do? Because GRE helps improve their language skills, and they use this advantage later in the third year for preparing for CAT. Now, I am not going to recommend that, because focus actually helps, because at the end of the day, you are not just fighting for GRE and academics, parallelly you have to improve your profile too, you know. So please plan your thing. Now, what happens if you are not able to submit by, let us say, October? Does that mean you will not get admission in good colleges? Answer is no. Window opens in October, all right? And window is hot till January. But understand the fact that when the application starts coming in, colleges also start giving admissions. So as you delay your application, the chances of admit and chances of getting scholarship actually comes down. So if you can, try to meet the early deadline, because that will phenomenally help you get admission as well as scholarship opportunities. All right, let me take one or two questions which have been fired here before I continue what I am saying. I have been asked MS in Canada for PR, or MS in US for better jobs. Shashank, MS in US for better jobs. Because believe me, if you get good jobs, don't worry about PR. Majority of the people who go to Canada finally want to go back to US only. All right, they take a circuitous way out. And the other problem with Canada is it's a socialistic country. Salaries are less. It's cold place. All right. It's very easy to say, chalta hai. You know, I still remember one kid of mine who said that, no sir, not a problem. He went to a God-forsaken place and then came rushing back. We are Indians. We bloody need sun. You know, for us, Surya Namaskaram is very important. My body gets heat from the sun. Imagine you going to a country where 8 months you are wearing woolens. Man, you will lose your goddamn brown pigment here. These are things that you should look for. So if your academics is good enough, go to US. And the reason is very simple here. Best of the best students go to US. Then why the shit are you compromising? Now you may say, but I am not the best, sir. Yeah, average students also go to US here. People who can't go to US for some reason go to Canada. Why should you marry the second love when you have the first love? That is something that you need to understand. Okay, can I do my MS in cybersecurity if I am a CES? Yes, of course. Uday, answer is yes. Cybersecurity is a part of that. So you might be a CSE guy. Cybersecurity, you can do, a Mechie can do. It's open, because as I said, the amount of coding that is required is little lesser. Which country is better for cybersecurity for study and job? Sweetheart, sweetheart, sweetheart. US, 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 US and US. Why? Because companies are more in number, jobs are more in number, money is more in number. What more do you need? But apart from that, if not, then Ireland would be the best. Ireland or Canada. Okay, Ireland is fantastic in jobs. And one of the reasons why people focus in Ireland is also, again, to go to US. All right, how do they do that? Ireland has Google, it has, it has FB, Facebook, etc. What they do is, after finishing their studies in Ireland, they prefer American MNCs. They work for American MNCs in Ireland for a year or two, and then they ask for a transfer from here to the US. American MNC, na? So that path is also there, but let me assure you, all the roads end to US here. So if you can directly go to US, why not here? I have Snigna who is saying which country should I look for in terms of job opportunity MS in mechanical engineering and which country is that good. When it comes to mechanical engineering, if you are looking at manufacturing etc., Germany is a good place to be. Okay. The problem with Germany, however, is it's a bit racist. Sorry for that. The second problem is the number of colleges are lesser, therefore the probability of getting an admit is lesser. My point is very simple. Guess what is the name I'm going to take? I'm going to say US. You want a proof? Go to IIT, find out from IIT Madras where do mechanical engineers go, and guess what? It's going to be US. But when it comes to mechanical engineering, there are certain areas in US that you need to be focusing on. Deloitte, I'm sure you are aware of, is a hot area to be. I will be explaining that as well. VLSI I have already answered. Sweetheart, I'll show you certain colleges in the field of VLSI, etc. Okay, is Germany good for MS? As I have already answered that. Which country is good for AI and ML? The amount of research that is happening in AI and ML in China is phenomenal. I'm sure you know of the type of products they have come out with during the pandemic itself. But thank you so much. China can be where it is and we Indians can be elsewhere. I'm very sorry. I just sounded so nationalistic, which I'm not. My pardon. I'm sorry for that shit. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that US, Canada, Ireland, technology best, AIML included. I'm an EC student. I want to do my MS in computers. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Now understand the fact that in US there's nothing like a concept of ECE, right? Computers and electrical is what we talk about, and EC is an application of computers and electrical coming together. Answer is yes. You're a mechanical engineer. You can go to the field of CS. But two recommendations I have. One. If you have already decided that you're going to get married to the area of CS, my suggestion is get to know a little more about CS. Okay. So if you're an electronics engineer and you want to do CS, you should not end up in a class of CS surrounded by CS and they are better than you. So guess what? They screw you big time. So remember, once you join the college, you still have to perform, all right? Because you're not going to enter the college alone. You have to pass out of the college and get a job too. The second important point that you need to understand is, depending on your comfort with computer science, be very careful. Either take computer science or you take software engineering. Or don't rush into that. Or within that also you can decide, let me do something in data sciences. You may say, no, data science is going to be tough for me. Let me do something in data analytics. You may say, data analytics is tough for me. Let me do something in business analytics. Zindabad. So options are there. But if your question is, can you change? Answer is yes. With capital Y, capital E and capital S, you can change. Okay, what are the disadvantages for EC to MS? Sheikh, I just answered that. The biggest disadvantage is you probably are not going to be ready once you land up there. You know, you are a EC guy, you apply for CS because of what? Because you know jobs are there in CS, valid enough. Two problems you'll have. One, when you write your SOP, you need to convince them that CS is the girl you wish to marry. So you need to show that you already flirted with that girl. How do you do so? Do something in CS right now. So that when you are writing it in your SOP, you can highlight the fact that, look, though I am a ECE student, my interest in computers picked up and I actually did this thing. Okay? And that is where I wish to continue. Now, the beauty is when you go for a visa interview also, they'll ask, why do you want to shift from EC to CS? If you have done something, it's easier to convince them. Third, understand the fact that once you go to the CS, you're going to be sitting in a classroom. There are going to be EC kids, there are going to be mechanical kids, but there are also going to be computer science kids. And if they happen to be much more well equipped than you, when the course starts, you have a disadvantage. So if you have already decided, okay, I would also recommend you to shift to the CS. Please start investing your energies and time in that. All right, and build the right profile, sweetheart. Okay, I have Satyendra asking, what are the good courses for EC students? I'll show you that. All right, let me see. See. All right, computer science. These are the states. These are the areas which are what we call as the growth areas. You have a lot of companies in US which basically look for people in these areas. Please try to be in evolving technologies as much as possible. All right, this is as far as computer science is concerned. In case you are a person not interested in technology and you still want to go to US, what do? You have options. Don't do MBA. As I said, MBA, you will not get good colleges because good colleges will demand you to have experience. Instead, what I'm suggesting is you can do MS in management. All right. The difference between MBA in management and MS in management is MS in management is for entry level jobs. MBA is not for entry level jobs in US. It's for little higher level jobs. All right. You can do MS in management. You can do MS in finance. You can do MS in marketing. You have such options. You can also take up business analytics where you already come with a little bit of technology background. You combine that with your business background to learn a little more about it. So you can do even this. You can also do MIS, Management Information System. All right. Now, this course of MIS is offered not just in the engineering colleges there. It's not just offered as an MS program. It's also offered as MBA program. Please do not apply for MBA and MIS because MBA and MIS, most of the countries, most of the colleges, government of US has not given OPT. Now, I'm going to be spending 1 minute talking about OPT. Now, what is OPT? You go to US with a F1 visa. All right. Now, after you finish your MS, you are allowed to work for 3 years in F1 visa. If you are a good student, of course, you join a good company, that company will get you H1B visa. But if you are not getting a good job, you can still be in the US for 3 years in F1 visa working. But this F1 visa extension, which is known as OPT, is not given for MBAs unless and until the college has gone for some accreditation. All right. So please don't apply for MBA in MIS, apply for MS in MIS. That is something that you need to know. So these would be areas. Now, if you're a mechanical engineer, the states that we are talking about are Michigan, California, Texas, Ohio, Illinois. These are places where the market is hot. So look for those. If you're a civil engineer, Alaska is doing phenomenally well, but it's shit cold. Remember that. Washington is good. Virginia is good. Texas is good. Nevada is good. Electrical and electronics engineer, California, Massachusetts, Washington, Texas, New York. Don't rush to write these. These are something that are available in public domain. Otherwise, I'll share this PPT as well if required be. Chemical engineer, Texas is huge. Let's not forget Texas is the oil capital. Alaska, again, oil discovery. New Jersey is good. Public health, I don't believe anyone here is in that area. So I'll just skip this up. Biotech, California is doing well. Washington is doing well. Wisconsin does well. Ohio does well. So you have it. All right. Now, if you're asking me in electrical engineering, what are the areas where which are considered to be evolving? When I use the word evolving, what am I saying? That you have an opportunity of getting jobs increasing. These would be the areas: wireless communication, power systems, integrated circuits, signal processing, computer engineering. Do remember the difference between computer science and computer engineering is computer science basically comes from computers, computer engineering comes from electrical side. So hardware is also involved. Civil engineering, we talk about construction engineering, structural engineering, environmental engineering is doing very well. So that is something that you can remember. Mining is doing well, hydraulic engineering. So these are all options that you have. Mechanical engineering, industrial engineering is good. Supply chain management is doing phenomenally well. Mechatronics, which is a mix of technology and engineering, is doing extremely well. Manufacturing engineering is doing well, but again with a mix of technology. Automobile engineering, again with a mix of technology. And control systems engineering is, I'm sure you know what it is. All right. So biotechnology, again, many things. So the point I'm trying to make you understand is right country, right college, right course. These are the 3 C's that you need to be focusing on. All right, let me take a few more questions if at all we have it. Uday is saying, sir, I fixed my country as US. Can you suggest some of the best colleges for cybersecurity? Uday, if you were to ask me who is my dream girl, all right, I belong to a little different generation, all right? I can't remember any girl from your generation, but let me talk about Aishwarya Rai. Now, don't tell that to my wife. She'll kill me and she'll probably try to kill Aishwarya Rai as well. Sweetheart, best college is a wrong question. Best college for you would be the right question. So for me, it is more a factor of what is your profile like. Okay, so I would suggest just see if you can put me your profile and then probably I'll probably be able to guide you on that. All right, I have Varsha who is saying I'm a CSE student, but I'm weak in programming. Which non-programming course is best to do in US? I would suggest 2 areas. One could be MIS, but better still it would be cyber security. All right, try to do something good. Try to do some research on cyber security. You are all both, you're all students of Condira Online also. You probably have not got the platform as yet, but you will get it. We are floating a course from IIIT Hyderabad on cyber security, chiefly for people who are interested in technology but are not very strong in coding. It's a IIIT Hyderabad research-oriented summer course. We are floating an IoT, especially for students from mechanical engineering and mechatronics, etc., who want to get into those areas. And we are also focusing hardcore on speech recognition, which is AI based courses. All right, so courses of that nature will actually help you. Can EC student pick any automobile course? Yes, yes. Today automobile and technology cannot be diverged, so yes, you can. Are you interested in auto? If so, fantastic. I love you too, because I'm crazy about auto myself. Roshan is saying, is it better to do MS in a general subject or a specific one? Roshan, the point is, I'll tell you the strategy I use when I'm advising my students. One, you are not very clear which area you want to specialize in. Then go for MS in computer science and then do your research in the area of your specialization. So you can do your research in data sciences and then look for a job in data science. That is path number one. But there's one more trick I play. Let us say you are interested in, let me give you an example of a recent student that happened. He was a mechanical engineering student. Okay. Now he was interested in automobile, but he had screwed up his academics in thermal engineering and manufacturing engineering. So in graduation, the marks were not very good. So what I told him is, I saw his marks and I realized the fact that he had done well in subjects related to operation management. So I told him, build your SOP for operation management. He was not in love with operation management. He was in love with automobile engineering. All right. But his marks for subjects related to automobile engineering in BTech was lesser. I said, build your profile for operation management. Apply for MS in mechanical engineering. Once you go there, because your chances of getting admit is more because you have marks in operation research, etc. Once you go there, say bye-bye to operation management and do it in automobile engineering. So if you want to shift, but your profile is not very strong, that is another area that you can consider. All right, that is something which I do to improve one's profile and chance of getting admitted to a good college. Semiconductors, Abhishek. Any evolving area, semiconductors is one such. A big amount of research happening in making it as miniaturization, etc. Huge opportunity. Semiconductor is not about research only in semiconductor. It's application of semiconductors in another area. One of the areas that we are actually talking about is nanotechnology. You should be a huge opportunity again. Anjali says, sir, being a CSE student, is it mandatory to do MS in the field of CS only, or is it possible to do in? Oh, Anjali, you can shift to management. You can become a doctor. Are you aware? You can become a surgeon. In US, becoming a doctor is a master's thing, not a bachelor's thing. So you have a lot of engineers who end up becoming doctors too. So you have a lot of options. You can shift to management. Quite common. I will not recommend it unless until you are telling me that I'm not interested in technology. All right. Remember, jobs are always going to be more in technology area, and that's true across the world, including India. I have Roshan saying, is it better to do MS in? All right, I have answered that. I have Krishna saying, sir, can we write a Duolingo exam instead of IELTS or TOEFL? Please don't do that, sweetheart, because answer is yes, colleges consider all that, but if your English is good enough, please write IELTS, because IELTS reflects better skills in English. It will help you not just for admission, it will help you in visa also, because IELTS is considered to be tougher. Okay, so why not show the visa people that you actually have done well in the tougher test? Alright, I have Vijay asking, sir, can EC student pick any area like computers, automobile? Answer is yes. YES. Remember two things: build your profile in that area, that is important, and have a passion in that area. Jobs should be there in that area. I have Satyendra asking, will there be good opportunities for automobile courses in US? Yes. There's a lot of research happening in automobile side. Let's not forget, we are talking about material which are lighter, which are faster. There's a lot of research happening in fuel efficiency, which is about engines, shift to non-renewable source energies, automation that is taking place. So huge. Krishna is saying, sir, can we write? Alright, Uday, sir, I actually didn't even start preparing for GRE and didn't do any work on any specialization, so I'm confused. I want to do it in cybersecurity. Uday, you have time. I don't know which year you're in. Yeah, it would have. This is a very good chance you're probably in 3-2, all right? Yes, you should have done earlier, but don't worry that if you're not done, do it now, okay? We can't cry about milk that's split. Can you please elaborate on non-thesis based masters? All right, Ujjwal, let us say you are a PhD has a huge value in US. You know what is the best benefit of PhD? If you do your PhD, the day you finish your PhD, you get your green card also. The waiting list for the green card shrinks. because PhD is given a lot of value. So if you are a person passionate about research and you wish to do your PhD, then thesis should it be. Having said that, if you're sure you don't want to do your PhD, still I would say thesis will give you more opportunities. But if you're saying that no, I'm not interested, I'm sure, then go for non-thesis. Not a problem at all. The difference between thesis and non-thesis is, in thesis you will be given credits for doing research. In non-thesis, instead of hardcore research, you will be doing more courses. Okay, so non-thesis is considered to be easier. If there's a rejection in visa, how can I plan for that? Surendra, if there's a rejection in visa, immediately apply to another place. Let us say you got rejection in Bangalore, apply immediately to Hyderabad, you get rejection there, apply immediately to Chennai. Okay, I'm just randomly picking 3 places. Now, if you still get rejection, 6 months, do something, apply. Yeah, chance of rejection is low if your profile is good. So first thing is, of course, build your goddamn profile. Get into a good college. Yeah, so many people get visa. Yeah. Why are we afraid of idiots who are not getting visa? But of course, if your college of choice for MS is not good, then the rejection rate can be high. Okay, and if you still are afraid, keep a backup. US plus Canada, US plus Ireland, US plus Germany. I don't know which one. Can you tell about the deadlines for universities in September intake? That's what I told you. September intake is what is known as a fall intake. Fall intake basically, let's say you are in the 3rd year and you are going to graduate out in 22. You will actually be going for September 22. Admission for September 22 starts in October 21. Okay, so good colleges will open their window in October 21. They will be there till January, and after January, they might take applications, but conversion rate will be very less. So the best chance of getting into a good college along with scholarship or funding would be if you were to apply by September. But don't rush to apply by September end. If you do believe that giving 1 extra month can help you improve your profile, then do it by October, do it by November. But after that, the chances reduce. What is the difference between software engineering and technology? Software engineering and computer science. Computer science is more theory oriented. Hardware oriented as well. Okay, so you do a lot of you want to go into data sciences, etc. Then computer science is what it is going to be. But software engineering is a little more simpler. It's more programming oriented. What can we do to show them that we are interested in CS even though we did EC? Do a good project, practical project, if possible research project. Get a good certification from research organizations. If not research organizations, research institutions like IIC Bangalore, IIIT Hyderabad, IIIT Bangalore, Hyderabad. These are the ones. Is it better to do MS in... Oh, I've already answered that, Roshan. As I said, it's a choice you have. Okay. Now, that's it, I guess. If you do have any queries, I'm just posting my... Alright, I believe. Alright, this is my WhatsApp number. If you do have any queries, please feel free. Right now, this is my WhatsApp number, right? So I will take it up that way. Roshan, you can just send me, but if you are at all sending me a query, please give me your background too, because otherwise I will not be able to give you an answer. Otherwise it will be a very general answer. Okay, that you need to understand. Alright, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. In case you're from Visakhapatnam, you're always welcome to Kondira and fix up an appointment with me and meet me up. My only thing is, you guys come from good colleges, please don't sell your dreams cheap. Be ambitious enough. It requires you to invest. It requires you to, do a lot of sacrifices, but it's going to be worth it. That is something that you need to understand. Satyendra, don't worry too much about your CGPA. CGPA is past, can't be helped. As I said, if your CGPA is a little low, work to improve your profile elsewhere. So 7+ is not low enough. Don't take it that bad. But yes, 9 would have been preferred. That goes without saying. But if it's 7+, see to it that you are just doing a little bit of homework in terms of improving your profile, in terms of the project you do, it will help you. Anjali is saying, suppose one has just placed into an IT company, can they play a good role in writing SOP? Anjali, understand, job experience is not a need for for MS, alright? In fact, a job experience can actually spoil your chances of getting an MS as well. The reason is very simple. You are interested in data sciences, you join a company which does not give you work in data sciences but gives you work in some other area. How do you convince the college that you join the company? You can't say that company did not give me data sciences. Then they are going to say, then why did you not look for a company that gave you data sciences? But if you do get into a company which gives you a project in data sciences and then you apply for data sciences, then yes, work experience helps. It all depends on which company you are going to go to. No, not for MBA. Work experience is valuable. For MS, no way. All right. Look at IITians. I again give you an example. Unless and until, of course, your work experience is going to be research and oriented. So if you do get work experience in DRDOs, you get experience in ISROs, why not? You should fight for it. Otherwise, it does not actually help. That's it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for inviting me to, number one, to speak to you guys, and number two, as I keep saying, you guys do come from good colleges. Please be aspirational. You have good ecosystem in the college which is encouraging you. You have faculty members who are into research. Please be in touch with them. Take their help and see to it that you're building a good profile and you're not selling your dreams cheap. Okay. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. All right, I have one more question. I will take it up. I have Tirumala asking, is MBA for mechanical engineering students suggestible? Yes, it is suggestible, but if you're a mechanical engineering student, I will strongly suggest look for operation management, which is in line with management, but mechanical engineering. We talk about supply chain management, etc., and huge opportunity of jobs in supply chain management, especially because the retail sector is doing extremely well, especially the online retail. So rather than taking up finance, etc., my suggestion, operation research will be a better choice. Guys, thank you so much. And as I said, this is my number. Be in touch with me in case you have any queries. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for giving me this opportunity. And I hope to see you guys. And I really hope you found this session useful. All the very best and keep rocking. Thank you so much.